I know you said you're not opposed to longer term contracts, but what is it about these 1 and 2 year deals that fit into what you're trying to do in the bigger picture?
The 1 and 2 year contracts that we've signed players to?
Yeah, in free agency.
Yeah. Well, it just, you know, it gives you the flexibility to do a lot of different things. You know, you get into the longer term contracts, generally they're like, you're locked into them. And obviously when you sign players, we all hope that they perform well and justify the signing of the contract. I think we're just trying to move cautiously, and in the climate we're in, with uncertainty with our salary cap in years to come, we just felt like this is a good way to go. We're prepared to, you know, sign players to longer term contracts, but we're going to be careful in including our own players. You know, re-signing our own players. We're going to just move slowly for the time being, and be careful about handing out long-term deals. And
then last one for me, just is one of your strengths maybe being able to sell players such as Bobby Ryan, maybe even Nemesnikov, that you can come to Detroit and either reboot your career or kind of stabilize, you know, that there's a real opportunity here.
Yeah, well, one of the big selling features is getting opportunity to play, no question. You know, you talk to Thomas Grace, like, you're going to play a lot, you know, and you know, Bobby Ryan, we need great shot forwards to play on the power play. It's a great opportunity. Vlad, Vladdy can play any of the 3 forward positions. So you're getting an opportunity to play. You know, like, take advantage of that opportunity, even on a short-term contract, you know, set yourself up for the next one. But I also believe the other lure, not just the opportunity. I believe the players are intrigued to play for an Original Six franchise and play for the Red Wings. That's what I believe in. You know, a player like John Merrill, he's played here in you know, I think he was with the U18 program, or grew up in the area. These kids, you know, they know the area, and, you know, they know the city, and it's a great place to play. I think there is an allure to playing here in Detroit.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Daniela Bruce with Red Wings TV.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Danielle.
So you mentioned it a little bit with Bobby Ryan and Vladislav Nemesnikov having a lot of playing time here in Detroit, but where exactly do you see those two fitting into your lineup?
Well, I'd say, you know, Bobby's a right winger. You know, I don't know that he's played the left side at all in his career, but I certainly don't see any reason why he wouldn't. You know, honestly, they can play anywhere up and down the line. We'll see where it goes. Vladdy has played all 3 forward positions. And I'm sure, you know, I haven't really sat down with Jeff and gotten his opinion or his thoughts on where everybody's going to play. We've got time to do that. And once all the kind of the dust settles, we'll get a chance to sit down and discuss it. Ultimately, he'll decide that. But, you know, I say Vladdy can play any of the 3 forward positions. He can play on both special teams, and I see him playing, you know, any one of our 4 lines. He can play in a checking role. He's a pretty versatile player, and Bobby can go play with any of these lines as well and play on the power play. So, you know, to say which line, you know, I try to stay away from first line, second line, third line, fourth line, but I think Bobby can play in any type of offensive role, and on the power play, and I see Vladdy play really in any situation.
And just a quick follow-up with the addition of those two, and you have a solid forward crew there, but Anthony Mantha and Tyler Bertuzzi, still no deals done with them, specifically Tyler Bertuzzi, who filed for arbitration. Can you give us any update on where you're at with the 2 of them?
No, I'll have some discussions, you know, and I'm expecting to talk to Anthony's agent, as early, in the coming days here. We'll talk some more, and like I said, I'm confident we'll get a deal done. I can't tell you exactly for how long or what it is, but it's both of our intentions to get a deal done. And likewise with Tyler, the thing he filed for arbitration, ultimately we know we're going to get a contract done. It may be for 1 year, or it may be longer. So, where it stands, we'll continue to talk, and with Tyler, I'm sure they're preparing for arbitration just like we are.
Thank you.
Okay.
Our next question is from Brad Galley with WXYZ.
Even watching your team last year as closely as you did, was there a consistent factor or consistent trait in the free agents that you signed that maybe you saw missing on the ice with the Wings last year?
Nothing specific. We're just trying to upgrade, really every position. But every we need to be better in goal. We need to be better defensively with the D core itself, but also as a team, we need to be better defensively, and that includes the forwards as well. So, and we need to score more. So pretty much we're looking to upgrade every aspect of our team. And so we're looking for players that would, and Bobby Ryan in particular, I think he'll help our power play. I think he'll help us score goals 5-on-5, but in particular, the power play, Vladdy, gives us depth up front to play in all situations. I think he'll give us a bump in every aspect. And John Merrill gives us help on the left side, Stetcher on the right side. And I expect him to play in all situations. And we're expecting Thomas Greiss to come in and help keep the puck out of our net and lower our goals against average.
And then do you expect to be talking to us pretty frequently here with how the market's going to be moving? Do you expect to be making more big moves or making more big signings?
Not necessarily. I think we're in a position, if we wanted to do something, look maybe now just to see, what some of the teams that are kind of cap crunched a little bit, to see if they're looking to do anything. So maybe just kind of explore possible trades, things like that. And then if nothing comes to fruition there, then potentially circle back and maybe add one more player and a free agent if they're still out there later on. But I don't think we'll be terribly active.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Our next question is from Carly Johnston with Red Wings TV.
Hey, Steve, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no trouble.
All right, so the 5 guys you acquired so far in free agency, they've been in the league for at least a few years each now. Are you trying to add some experience into the lineup and veteran presence to the locker room after losing a few guys like Abby Bailey, Howard, and Harrison?
Not specifically. The reality is the majority of you become a free agent after 7 years in the league, or age 7 years in the league, or age 27. So free agents are generally experienced guys in the league, and the guys that we did get for the most part are and as far as unrestricted free agents are relatively young. I think Vladdy's 27, Troy Stetcher only 26, Bobby's 33. I think Thomas 34. Those are older guys, but with what we think some legs left in. We believe legs left in them and hockey left in them. And again, John Merrill's only 28, but it's generally that's what you expect to get in unrestricted free agency, guys that have been in the league a while.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Our next question is from Nick Katzanika with NHL.com.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Good, Nick. How are you?
Good. Look, I don't want to make too much of this, but I don't want to make too little of it either. Like you listen to John Merrill and you listen to Vladislav Nemesnikov and what an honor it is to play for Detroit and how excited they are. Was it a priority at this stage to find guys like that? Is it a bonus to find guys like that? Because I think, my read on it is like you want that enthusiasm to help build the foundation, as you bridge the gap toward your, when your young players start to come in.
Well, I think it's important for players to be excited about where they're playing and like where they're living, and everybody has different motivations for wanting to, locations they want to play, and the one thing about Detroit being a good hockey town, hockey city, a lot of kids play, a lot of kids turn professional, and much like the kids in Toronto or Montreal, grow up dreaming to play for the Leafs or the Canadiens or the Canucks or whatnot. In Detroit, a lot of the kids grow up dreaming to play for the Red Wings. So, I think, in these situations that it Well, it's great that they're enthusiastic and want to come back and play, but I also do think it helps attract, helps in them making their decision that they have ties to the area and ties to the organization a little bit through their childhood.
Was it part of it targeting those guys, or is it just
No,
a nice coincidence?
no, not at all. We just, they're targets because we like the players. It's a bonus that they're from Detroit, and maybe all things being equal, the fact that they have ties to Detroit, maybe that puts it over the edge a little bit, but that would be for them to answer.
The other question I had was the short-term deals. How does that play into the planning for the expansion draft?
Doesn't really, we'll address the requirements for the expansion draft between now and the expansion draft. Hopefully, we'll get there. Really, the signings were more so one, we want to keep some flexibility. We didn't want to do long-term contracts, and in certain situations we would consider it, but we weren't really in the market for the players that were garnering the long-term contracts. So really in making our decisions, the expansion draft really wasn't a factor.
Gotcha. And do you remember meeting Nemesnikov when he was little? Any memories?
Not really. No, we talked about it when we drafted him in Tampa. But yeah, no, I don't really remember him being around the room a lot when he was a little boy.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question is from Max Boltman with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for doing this.
No trouble, Max.
I just wanted to ask you about some of the prospects who were the young players, I guess, who aren't in Europe, Cholowski, Svechnikov, and Giovanni Smith. Is there a plan for them between now and training camp, or do you see them coming into training camp to compete, or what's kind of your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, our hope is, we don't have the full parameters of when our training camp will be, how many players we can have. Will there be limits on players? I think all those things are being somewhat discussed. But our plan right now, some of the players you mentioned, I believe, are in the Detroit area, training and whatnot. We're hoping all our guys are, our strength coach, sports performance department is trying to stay on top of the guys and make sure they're training, skating where they can skate and ready to go. Our plan for those guys is, I assume they'll be at our training camp. We'll have enough. We'll be allowed to bring enough players, bring in the guys that played in Grand Rapids last year and bring them into our camp. There's uncertainty as to when the NHL is starting. There's uncertainty as to when the AHL is starting, and they may not necessarily coincide. So there's a lot of planning to do, a lot of uncertainty. But I know those guys are working and training, and they have been for a while. I think Dennis is in the area. Giovanni, I think, has been here for a bit. He might be back in the Toronto area now. And Svech has been he's been at a few different locations training and whatnot. So they're all guys, I expect them to be at our camp.
Awesome. And then when you bring in, I know the plan for all the guys you brought in is obviously for them to play, but because there are now, there's a lot of competition for some of these jobs on the NHL roster, how much of a bonus, I guess, or maybe just an objective do you feel that is, that none of those young players are going to kind of have a job handed to them?
Well, in some cases, in such, not necessarily just with our team, but in general, you can kind of pencil in a player into your lineup thinking he's ready based on, how he finished the last year. This is such a unique situation. We finished in March. We would have liked to have made, kind of, if there was a player we felt ready to play and wanted to keep a spot specifically open on the roster, we would have hoped to have seen them through March, April, through a good playoff run, and then kind of said, do we think he's ready to play? Based on when we shut down in March, our feeling is, our kids, and things can certainly change between March and whenever we start, but our feeling is, we need to have, build our roster, our young kids, if they're good enough to play, we'll find a spot for them and we'll figure it out. But we're prepared for them, whether they're staying in Europe or going to Grand Rapids or staying in junior hockey. That's the best place for them. So we if any of these kids show up in training camp, You know, a few of them, as you know, won't be here at the start of camp. If we start in January, they'll be playing in Europe. But if anybody's ready to go and help the team and they're going to play a lot, we'll keep them and we'll figure it out. But right now we've filled our holes, or the spots that were available in the roster. But it's not like it's set in stone that we can't change it. And wouldn't it be fantastic if a young guy just came in and just simply too good to send to the American League, or too good to loan back to Europe or whatnot, or loan back to junior? It'd be a fantastic problem to have.
Thanks very much.
Looks like that's all the time we have with Steve today. Thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you, Steve, for your time.
Appreciate it, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey,
Thanks.
guys, ladies, thank you.
Thank you.